What are you doing, Ben?
There we go. The overlay had an update, and I forgot I needed to add our display capture, but it's fixed now. Easy fix.
Gee, dang it.
I know, right?
Wow. What a production guy.
You know, it is what it is. Combo / mission failed here first. Welcome. How are we doing? Welcome everybody else who is tuning in to yet another episode of What in the World podcast. Appreciate you stopping by. Shout outs to my little brother who just followed us a second, like 11 minutes ago. Big shout outs to him. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, for sure.
But yeah, so that is...
I'm trying to find chat on Twitch, and I'm boomering hard right now, bro. Boomering hard.
Yikers.
There we go. Alright, cool. We're there. I think I'm just... mission failed that sends me stuff on Instagram?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Kabira?
Oh, no, that's not Mission Failed. That's Spaceman.
Oh, Spaceman. Duh. I knew that. Never mind. It's Spaceman. I told him to reach out and tell you to podcast tonight, because today's a good day to get into some shit.
Yep.
Straight out of the debates. Bad lip reading. Bad lip reading for the first presidential debate. Did you say you did, or you want us?
No. The YouTube channel Bad Lip Reading.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me just do this real fast.
How was your family's podcast?
It was good.
Tell the people about your families. I'm your podcast co-host, and I didn't even know you had another podcast.
Yeah, so I don't do it all that often. Today was only my second time on it. I need to be better about doing it because it is obviously my family. But I'm part of another podcast called, we call it FAQ, so FAQ, and it's Faye Answered Questions. So our last name obviously is Faye, and it's just us answering questions that people pose to us either through email or that my little brother comes up with, or people email him about, and we just sit there and we take a couple of those questions an episode and answer them and give our takes on it from our different viewpoints in our family. You can find that podcast on YouTube under, I think, Squash. I know you're kind of here just lurking. Put the YouTube link in the chat if you're still here listening.
Yeah, promote your family, damn it.
So, Fact
there
Pod,
he
there
is.
you go. Link
There's
it.
Squash.
Can you should be able to post a link, dude. Put the see if you can just grab the channel link off of YouTube and put it in there too. Appreciate you.
Anyway, now that you're done promoting your family.
Yeah, now that I'm done talking about other podcasts.
Thanks for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
Hey, if your podcast wants to sponsor our podcast, I mean, that's like a podcast sponsorception.
That's podcast inception.
Hey, that's family helping family out in my book.
That's true.
I sound like Trump at the debates.
I wish I watched it, but I've given up really looking at it because
so good. It was so funny.
Because I should watch it I should have watched it just for the hilarity, but I've already voted, right? So I'm like, I don't really care. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I didn't vote for either one of those dudes. So it's like, why do I need to?
I had a watershed moment during the debate. I had a watershed moment. My girlfriend is left-leaning. I'm right-leaning. But we have very civil conversations about it. And at the end of the day, we largely agree with each other on most everything. And it was when Trump was saying, I'm the least racist person in this room. And she was like, but you are a racist. And I turned to her and I was like, I don't think he's a racist. Because I really don't think he's a racist.
Yeah.
I think he is so pro himself. He's such a narcissist that he doesn't care what color your skin is. If you back him, he's your best friend.
If you support...
And if you go against him, He is your mortal enemy, and he wishes death upon you.
If you support the Donald, then you're A-okay in his
All
book.
Systems a go. I don't give a shit. If
don't-
you're gonna make me money, I don't give a shit what you look like.
Right.
If you're gonna support my really shitty personality and who I am, I'm all for you. But if you're gonna be against me or write an article, that 60 Minutes article he cut short,
Right.
and she wasn't. The snippets that I watched, she wasn't being aggressive.
Yeah, apparently she was being
all.
like
She was
rude
just,
and
she was being a reporter is what she was doing. You know, she was being an investigative journalist. She was asking him legitimate questions, and he took it as she was being biased, and he's like, fuck you, I'm out. Like, done. Don't want to talk anymore.
he didn't like it. Hey, and that's but he didn't say he wasn't racist on there. He just said he was the least racist. Well, in his mind, being the least racist person on the planet is equivalent to not being racist at all.
He's a winner.
He's a winner.
In his mind, he's a winner.
Which one of your family members on your family podcast on like a New York version of Ferris Bueller? I have no idea who on earth in my family would sound like that. I don't even know what episode you're listening to, Mission Failed or Combo. That's a question for Squash. I don't know. But yeah, so I've looked it up. Just the first episode. I don't know. I'll have to go.
To begin with, I'm curious of what the New York version of Ferris Bueller would sound like. That's
super
very
specific.
Very specific.
I'm guessing probably the only people on there are my dad, who's Australian, and my mom and my little brother. I think are the only ones on the first episode. So take your pick. It's probably Squash, but that doesn't make sense because he's the least New York person ever.
Oh.
Just for my own sake, I pulled up a little. It was like 4 takeaways from the debate. Just because I didn't watch it because I'm a bad podcast host.
It's not like that's at the top of our docket or anything. But
Not anything. It's fine.
Research on the fly, bro. It's fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. We like to keep it spicy here. And this is also benefiting the people that didn't watch it either.
There you go. That's the reason.
That's the reason right here.
That's the professional reason.
So, obviously, Biden and Trump offer diametrically, this is, wow, big words straight up, opposed views or visions on coronavirus. And this is from a website called independent.co.uk. So hopefully it's as unbiased as it can get. I did see this, though, that Trump said we can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. So, the Rugrats mug, nice.
It's all Nickelodeon characters, just to, anyway.
Oh, sorry, I just saw a couple of Rugrats characters. So, Trump is obviously saying we can't close up our nation, you're not going to have a nation. So, Trump is saying, obviously that he is opposed to shutting everything down and wants to...
That was, he was trying for a real sick burn there, but it didn't land.
Yeah, I didn't think
that wasn't his best. That wasn't his best material. So, and that's basically what Trump is he's basically a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Trying to will people to vote for him on his narcissistic personality.
Right.
That's basically what it is.
And then we go, let's see. While the president has emphasized the health of the economy, Mr. Biden has tailored his messaging to end coronavirus strategy on saving as many American lives as possible, even if that means some economic losses. So what you have here is you've got Biden who wants to save lives, according to him, and Trump who wants to save the economy. And then they're blaming, like we talked about a little bit last week, he's blaming Trump for the death toll reaching 222,000 people.
I see both sides of the argument, but if you're gonna pin me in a corner and say one of the things that I do agree with Trump on, and I'm not agreeing with his approach to the virus, let me make that very clear, but his economic policy on we have to keep functioning as a country, I do agree with. And to answer Ednut's question, it's not coffee and beer, whiskey and beer.
There you go.
Well, little mix up. We're mixing it up. We, like Ben said earlier, we like to keep it spicy. You know?
I keep it spicy on this podcast. Keep it.
Gotta keep it spicy.
Spicy. Keep it loose. Keep it fast-ish. Wait. I'll get to that in a second, combo. So number 2, shallow on policy, deep on family conspiracy. So apparently they didn't talk much about policy. They just talked a lot about family conspiracy.
I don't necessarily know if I agree with that take. He did spend a lot of time trying to throw shade at Joe for his ties and like saying he got paid by Russia, and then Joe said, "Oh no, you got paid by Russia," and that's almost like a glance over. Not important.
All right,
just go to the next one.
Not important.
Yeah,
They just
that's not a hot take coming out of there.
Trump. This is a hot take. Trump doubles down on buddy-buddy relationship with Kim Jong-un. So Trump defended his decision to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at multiple bilateral summits over the last 3.5 years, even though the meetings did not produce any actionable agreements for North Korea to reduce its nuclear capabilities. Trump was quoted saying, "We have a very good relationship and there is no war." Trump said that his dalliance with Mr. Kim, which he has described as involving beautiful love letters between the two leaders. What the
No, see, hold on. Again, I watched it. I watched the entire thing. I know what they're talking about. He basically said if Hillary would have gotten elected, we'd be at war with North Korea right now, which is impossible to really say yay or nay, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility to say that if Hillary would have gotten elected, we would have gone to war with North Korea.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we would have, but I'm not saying it's entirely out of the realm of possibility that we wouldn't have.
There was a decent shot that it could have happened.
Sat down with Kim Jong-un, productive or not. He has tried to bridge the gap, but I don't think you're ever going to bridge that gap because that guy's a fucking Looney Tune. So.
Well, they all, every dictator.
Whether it's been futile or not, he has sat down with Kim Jong-un. And was it a waste of time? Maybe. Was it productive? I don't know what was said or what the conversations are. But to say that he was writing love letters to Kim Jong-un is irresponsible.
Yeah. Mr. Biden's response to that was, he said that the president's good buddy is a thug. He added, "We had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded the rest of Europe. Come on." So,
and that's not completely untrue either. That's not completely untrue either.
Yeah, because we didn't want to get involved in that war, and then Hitler sent that letter to the Mexicans, and the Mexican government was like, nah. And we intercepted it, and we're like, oh, so that's how you want to play?
And when you're dealing with a complete lunatic, you don't know how the lunatic is going to move next. Right. You know what I mean? So that's one of those situations where it's like, I can't say either guy was, like, lying, because Trump did meet with Kim Jong-un. He had very peaceful meetings and conversations. We did have a good relationship with Hitler before he decided to try to take over the world. So.
True. All right. Then this is the last point, at least from this article. Trump, as president, continues pitching himself as a swashbuckling outsider. So Trump, who has held the highest office in land for more than 3.5 years, wound back the clock to his outsider 2016 campaign to rail against Washington, D.C. political establishment at Thursday's debate. So he's saying here, and I think he's talking of Biden here, it's all talk and no action with these politicians. You're all talk and no action, Joe, Trump said. Taunting, that's a good word, Mr. Biden for spending 47 years in public life, 8 years as vice president in the West Wing without passing his policy agenda. You had 8 years, why didn't you get it done, the president said. Biden responded by saying, we had a Republican Congress, that's the answer. Democrats control the White House, House, and Senate in the first 2 years of Obama's presidency when the administration signed Obamacare into law and provided emergency bailouts to the auto industry. Republicans took back the House in 2010, and then they enjoyed the majority for the rest of Obama's tenure. So,
and I will say that among everything that Trump said, this might be the thing, and I'm not voting for him, just want that to be clear, that resonated most with me of why I'm not voting for Biden is because he has had 47 years to try to make a change. he's been around. He signed the wrong bills. He's been on the wrong side of quote-unquote history. Like, a lot of people want to look back and say, like, are you going to be on the right side of history or wrong side of history? He's been on the wrong side of a lot of these bills. The New York crime bill is, like, front and center. And he's had the time. He's been there. And why hasn't he made any of the changes that he says he's going to make?
He's been in office in some capacity for a long time. Like 47 years is a long time to not get anything done other than a major crime bill and the mass incarceration of people, particularly minorities. That's just...
Let me put it to you this way.
That ain't it, Chief.
In my normal job, if I showed up, I run a sales team, right? And if I showed up to that sales team and I told them, you know what, this year we're going to get more leads, you guys are going to make more money, you're going to have more sales, things are going to get better. At the end of year one, if that didn't come true, they'd be coming to me and saying, hey man, you said these things were going to happen. And maybe I could, like, think about like a sports coach. How much time do we give a sports coach, a football coach, a basketball coach, to make a change with a program?
Well, if you're Arkansas,
right?
You give them 2 years and then you boot them.
Yeah, well, and everybody's got their own. But look at Nick Saban, who has all the job security in the world. Why does he have that job security? Is because he's good at what he does, and he produces and he does what he says he's going to do.
Right.
And somehow in American politics, it's completely lost. It's almost like the system is rigged against us.
What?
I'm telling you, there's YouTube videos like where people have strung together what Clinton promised and what Obama promised, and then what Bush promised, and what other Republicans
all of them. Nobody ever.
It's the same narrative over and over.
They just wrap it differently. Again. They just wrap it differently so it appeals to their constituents and their voters, and it's the same thing over and over, and nothing ever gets accomplished.
And you know why college football coaches don't make it if they don't deliver what's promised? Is because the university isn't profitable.
Right.
So somehow, some way, there's a profitability in keeping the establishment within the two-party system. I don't understand how it goes, and that's way above my pay grade, and I'm not trying to talk about like conspiracy or anything like that. But it's very clear that there's some sort of monetization within the system to where it's in the country's best interest to keep one of those two.
Well, it's the money comes from corporations and PACs and super PACs.
Exactly.
That's where all the money comes from, and as long as whatever they're saying benefits whatever corporation or corporations that are feeding money into that, like the country essentially in the two-party system is not run by the president. It's run by whoever's funneling money into their pocket. And whoever's funneling money into the people in Congress's pocket.
It's crazy to think about, honestly.
It's wild. Like, you literally have, and they'll try and tell you all day long that they're not corrupt, but they still take that money and then try and word bills in such a way that the average Joe can't understand what the heck the bill is talking about, and just goes, okay, I guess we're voting for this, and that sounds okay, and then you gotta like really dig and try and find websites that break the bills down into layman's terms so you can figure out what the hell you're voting on, and it turns out that most of the time it's just voting on stuff to make corporations richer or deregulate them on certain things and stuff like that. Like, the country is not run by politics anymore. It's run by corporations and what their interests are.
It's run by people, and people's best interest is what's going to make them the most money.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is, unfortunately. So
just about the only thing the president does
third party, right?
Yeah, just about the only thing the president does that's not controlled by a corporation in some degree is the military, but even that gets contracted out sometimes, so...
Exactly. It's travesty, and that's why I'm voting outside of the system.
Yes, sir.
Not going to do it.
Can't do it no more.
You already voted, JoJo, right?
Yes, sir.
You said you already voted.
Yep. I did. I know. I remember like last week or the week before, Combo made a comment. It was funny. He said, "Why are you trying to hide who you voted for? We all already know who you voted for." And I was like, "Fair enough. I did tell you guys who I was voting for, or if I didn't flat out tell it, I did hint at it heavily."
I'm going to the voting box on voting day because I feel like that's some sort of like a, it's like showing up to the tailgate at game day or whatever instead of just staying at home. And I'm proudly casting my vote for JoJo Jurgensen, and I can't wait.
Nice.
Can't wait.
It's super cool that she's literally on the ballot in all 50 states. Like, her campaign people did their job.
Every year, the Libertarian candidate is on the ballot. Every year.
But not in all 50 states.
I'm pretty sure it's in all 50 states.
No, Joe Jurgensen's... their camp was super hyped because this was the first year. I remember them tweeting about it and making a big deal about it. This is the first year that a third party candidate has made it on the ballot in all 50 states.
So Gary Johnson wasn't on the ballot in all 50 states?
No, he was probably not, he was on a majority of them, but he wasn't in all 50 of them. Ednuts has a question. Go for it. Shoot, Edna.
I know the chat has been dry, as the children would say.
It's all good.
Yeah, I know.
Did you get your baby cleaned up? I saw that picture of her with spaghetti all over her face.
I thought you were talking about me. I'm like, I don't have a baby, do you?
No, sir. I mean, 4 is kind of a baby, but...
No, she's a sassy toddler.
But yeah, so that was the. What do you guys think will happen if Trump declares victory on election night before all the mail-in ballots have been counted? I think what's going to happen, Squash, is like something like that will happen. I don't know. One of those main 2 guys will probably do it. Honestly, they'll have the initial like voting day ballots come in and get counted, and one or both of them will declare victory. They'll be like, "Oh, we won," and then there's going to be a big celebration on whatever, and they're going to be mad confused, and somebody's going to have to come up and be like, oh, excuse me, Mr. Trump, Mr. Biden, we got to wait for the mail-in ballots. And then Trump's going to claim conspiracy because, I bet when he loses, if he loses, because I don't know how it's going to go, but if it comes in and, he's got the initial voting, like the voting looks like it's going in his favor on election night, and then, so they're like, oh, Trump's like, I won, and then all of the mail-in ballots come in, and it turns out he lost. He's going to cry foul so hard about voting tampering, why mail-in ballots should never have been a thing in the first place, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And he is going to be irate, and he's going to go on a Twitter rampage. Joe, on the other hand, will probably just have to take some dementia medicine to even remember what day it is.
It's not funny, but it's... anyway. Here's what I think is going to happen on the actual election night, regardless. You're going to have one side saying they won, because that's what the polls are looking like. And you're going to have another side saying the votes aren't counted yet, so we don't have a winner until we have a winner. And then it's going to take till January whatever until when the actual president is sworn in for them to dig through everything. Like, they've already said Iran and Russia have accessed voter ballot registration information. So it's going to be a goddamn shit show.
What I want them to do on Inauguration Day is have Trump and Biden there and not reveal the results until that day, and then dude just walks up with both of their hands, and then and then they just go, Trump won.
No, dude, we should make it like Survivor, to where like the last 10 ballots have been counted, and it's like within 10 ballots, and like we bring that Jeff guy up from Survivor, and he pulls it out, and he's like, 1 vote for Trump, 1 vote for Biden, and then it's like obviously very categorized to where it's like down to the last vote, and the president of our country is gonna be da da da, and then like confetti pops and like fireworks go off, and let's just make at this point in time, it's a goddamn reality TV show. So
and then there's a brawl.
Let's just play it up.
And
let's
then
just do it.
I bet you, no matter what, there'll be a brawl on the Capitol Mall. People are just gonna start punching people no matter who wins.
Yeah, there'll be Trump fans and Biden fans, and the Biden fans or the Trump fans will be super pissed. So let's just set up a boxing ring right outside of the White House, actually, to where Democrats and Republicans can just box it out right out. Make it like a rough and rowdy, like Barstool. Shout out to Barstool. Make it like a rough and rowdy, to where you can just get into a boxing ring and fight somebody from the other party and just duel it out. Because that's basically what we're at right now.
Right. Ed Nuts, to come back to your question, why don't they include any other candidates in anything other than, or any other candidates in the debates other than the two that they include? Like, they're on the ballot, but they don't participate in any debates or have as much exposure as the red or blue candidate. It's because, partly because for the most part, third-party candidates don't have as much funding as the main two candidates. That's
the main part, I would say.
And I don't know if you have to pay to go to to be in the debate. I don't think so. I think that you have to have a certain amount of donations from your party base to participate. Because Gary Johnson was pissed because he didn't get allowed to be in the debates, but he said he had to reach like $13.6 billion or something like that in donations, and he ended up not even being close. So it's about the money, and also it's about the mainstream media keeping the narrative alive that this is only a two-party country and there's no such thing as a third party, and if you vote third party, it's a wasted vote. Like, yada, 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 all that type of stuff. So that's pretty much why. Like, third parties always get the short end of the stick on trying to go to debates and get their voices, heard, because the mainstream media and the Republicans and the Democrats want to just keep you voting the same two parties.
Well, because there's the system that actually puts on the debates, so they get to control who comes on and who isn't. And that's like a third-party system. That's not a government entity.
Yeah.
So they can say, well, you got to have X amount in funding because we don't want to have 20 people up here doing the debate. We got to make sure you're serious. And how
so they're just making the requirements super difficult for third-party.
Yeah, exactly.
Combo's asking, who do you guys think is worse, Trump or Biden?
It's a tough one, bro.
That is a tough one. I don't know, man. They're both kind of senile old men, really, that think they can just hurl insults at each other until they're blue in the face.
Let me try to dive out of that exact question and answer a question similar to it. If you held a gun to my head and said, who do you want to run the country, Trump or Biden? These are your only two choices. I would choose Trump as a businessman / wants to make as much money as possible, and the only way that happens is if America is as profitable as possible. Not that I trust him as a human, because I wouldn't leave him in the room with my 2-year-old niece. Like I don't trust the guy at all. I probably trust Biden more in that respect, but
I wouldn't trust him around kids.
I think Biden is deeply tied into political roots that will lead him to make decisions more based on a quote-unquote politician's view, and that's what I'll say about that.
I would choose, in that scenario, Trump based on the sole fact that he's given the military a pay raise since he's been in office. So that's the only reason I would vote for him, honestly. Biden, which as some of the things that have come out about him, or allegedly come out about him being connected to Pizzagate and stuff like that, and just how I've seen he makes people uncomfortable. Creepy Joe just makes people uncomfortable. That dude gives me the willies. I don't like him.
You really just used the term Creepy Joe.
Yeah, I did, because that's what people call him. His name's Creepy Joe Biden.
That's what Trump calls him.
Well, I don't care because he is creepy.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
He just gives me a bad vibe, man. I don't like how he.
Gives
I don't
you the
like.
heebie-jeebies?
Yeah, I don't like how he just puts his hands on people and then always tries to kiss them in the face, and obviously nobody wants that. Don't kiss
I'm not
me.
touching that argument at all. I'm just strictly saying who I want to run my country.
We've been told that we delve into Pizzagate too much, and that makes people uncomfortable.
Well,
we don't care. The truth will come out.
The Ghislaine Maxwell documents were just unsealed, brother.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
I am fired up to talk about this.
Let's go.
She did exactly... Well, and people need to keep in mind that the depositions were back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they just did these interviews with her. This was way before Jeffrey was, like, convicted or anything. And she did everything that you thought she was going to do in the sense of, like, deny. And there was a couple times where she got mad. Started pounding the table. Then to take a... I think there was only one time, to be fair. But she was definitely... She was twerked, bro. She was triggered.
Yeah, I bet she was.
Definitely triggered. Darth Vader has a sister.
Yeah, I have a sister. I told you guys I have a brother and a sister. I'm pretty sure I told you.
We can't tell Spaceman. He'll simp it for...
Oh, no.
No.
Alright, go ahead, Alex. Get in there. Start talking about...
You want me to just dive in?
Yeah, dude, just dive in.
Yeah, let me take a sip of whiskey before I just start diving into this shit, bro, because you guys need to buckle yourselves in, because I read a lot of it. Shout out to Ed Nuts. She sent me the deposition, but I was already reading it, and I was like 85 pages in.
It's a 400-page deposition, just so everyone's aware. My man is 85 pages into a 400-page deposition of dry legal documents.
No, when Ed Nuts sent it to me, I got through about like 200 pages of it.
My God.
And got the general gist. Okay, let me just set it up for you guys if you don't understand how like a deposition works. Not saying that you're stupid, but I didn't really even necessarily realize how it worked.
Hold on 1 second, real fast though. Combo, my dad is not the New York Ferris Bueller. He's Australian. I don't know how you're getting Ferris Bueller and New York out of that. But that ain't it, Chief. He's Australian. Anyway.
Not New York.
Back to what we're talking about.
Okay. So, the prosecutors are there asking Maxwell questions. And then Maxwell's lawyers are in the room. Basically trying to, like, object to which questions she shouldn't have to answer. So, long story short, it took them a while to get her to answer every exact question that the prosecutor was asking, because there was like objection. Well, if your client doesn't agree to answer this question, we're going to be back here again and like take that up with the judge. You know, there was a lot of like that legal bullshit going on.
Yeah.
Basically, they eventually got Ghislaine a 7-hour deposition interview, if you will. To where the best way that I could describe it in short is they would ask her questions about Virginia. I can't remember.
I have it pulled up. It's Gouffre.
Yeah, Gouffre. Yeah, it's like Gouffre.
Giuffre.
Okay, Gouffre.
It's French as hell. French Canadians, if you're in the chat, tell us how to pronounce it.
So anyway, Gouffre is the one that basically came out and said, hey, Ghislaine made us do all this heinous shit for Jeffrey and his friends, which involves Prince Andrew, whose name was redacted from the statement, and Bill Clinton, which his name is not redacted from the statement, which is very interesting, because it says President Clinton, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Within the other like redacted names, you kind of gotta piece together and connect the dots. But Gouffre is in a picture with Prince Andrew and her with her arms around each other, with their arms around each other, and Ghislaine in the background. And throughout the deposition, Ghislaine is saying, I can't recall her taking a flight with us. I can't even recall her being around. I can't recall her doing this. I can't recall her
There
doing
was something I had pulled up. Is, she's like, I do not recollect that, and I never gave him a gift of a puppet. Something, there was like a puppet.
No, there was a
that was
part
involved
where-
about it's a similar dog who Free has previously said was used in a sex game with Prince Andrew. So, Ghislaine is basically just denying everything.
Well, and that's even the puppet part. That name is redacted, so it must be Prince
gotta be
Andrew.
Prince
I haven't
Andrew.
even gone through and connected the dots like that. But the entire time when I'm reading all this about, because Ghislaine calls Gouffry like a liar, like a fantasist, like she's telling a tissue of lies, blah blah blah. The entire time I'm thinking like, okay, if this was like one person against one person, I might have some sort of tendency to believe Ghislaine. Like, maybe really one person does want to seek to destroy your name and get in the press and make money off of this. But there are 30 women. There are 30 other people that stand behind exactly what this woman is saying. And Ghislaine is the one person on the other side. And by the way, her one tie is Jeffrey Epstein,
Right.
who quote unquote committed suicide in jail.
My ass.
Like I just Ghislaine, you're cooked here.
She is
girl.
so
like
cooked.
you're cooked. Like you are dead to rights, red-handed, and she is still projecting her fantasist, her narcissist tendencies on someone that's accusing on all of this to her, and it's not believable. Like, you can read through the entire documents like I did and read line by line and continually time and time again, I'm like, she's lying, she's denying it, 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 she's lying. Like, she is fucking lying. That's the only way to perceive the entire deposition, because she is a fucking liar.
And I found, actually, this article from NPR has the entire deposition on it. 414 pages of it. So, yeah, that's crazy. If I could, well, I don't explore this document in full screen mode, so I could bookmark this and go back and read the deposition, which is insane. But yeah, they're basically just gonna keep her. They're gonna keep her locked up forever, and they're just gonna keep squeezing her until she keeps giving out names.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Somebody's talking about hooking up with your dad in the chat.
It's Marcus. Mr. Dark Phoenix is here. He's got the hots for me.
Welcome, Mr. Dark Phoenix.
Dark, hook me up with your dad. No, my dad's happily married. Sorry.
He's a pastor also, bro. I'm sorry, I don't
Former,
think
but yeah.
Well, yeah, but still.
Yeah, so this deposition, basically, everybody's been waiting for it to come out for a long time. Because it's going to hopefully help progress this whole thing. And,
Well,
really.
and here's the thing about it. There's no, like, groundbreaking information. There's no earth-shattering, like, oh my god, we didn't know this, we didn't know that. It's just all confirming what we believe to be true, because there are good reporters out there. And basically, Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were in a scheme to bring young girls onto the La Lolita Express, which, if you don't know what the La Lolita means, you should look it up. Spoiler alert, it means promiscuous young girl. To bring him to his island, to give him quote-unquote massages, and people he would bring to his island, quote-unquote massages, and entertain his quote-unquote guests,
And it wasn't
And
even at the island all the time. Sometimes they flew him to England. They flew him all over the place.
well, he had like 6 houses.
They flew him all. They flew those girls all over the place. Ednut says, "What I don't understand how there's so many pictures of Epstein, Maxwell, with Trump, and nothing has come, has come about him has come to the surface because Trump has paid a lot of people to keep a lot of things quiet, and he's got a good legal team that is taking care of anything that happens with that right now."
And that, and the
year.
fact that you can't. He was a very well-known and prominent person, right? And I'm not saying Trump was involved with that. I'm not saying he wasn't involved with that. But if you looked at a catalog of pictures that Jeffrey Epstein took with people, you can't say that every single one of those people was a child molester.
Right.
Like, now, and again, I'm not saying that he was or he wasn't. Well, but the evidence isn't there right now. His name is not in any of the flight logs.
It's not in any of the flight logs or anything like that. But there has been there is a girl. I mean, I forget her name right now, which is horrible. But she sued Trump beforehand on things about this. Sued him for basically for rape because she was underage. And that got swept aside, and then she came back very recently and is filing again, I think, in the state of New York. So, and she named Epstein and Trump in this, but I haven't heard anything about it since.
And if that's the way that it goes down, that if he was involved, then fuck that motherfucker. He deserves to be. I don't want to say burned at the stake because that's a really bad thing, but he deserves to be tried just like the rest of them. If you violate young girls, I don't care who the fuck you are, what the fuck you do, you deserve to be treated like the scum of the earth, because that is not, that's a very sanctified line that you do not cross.
Mm-mm.
And if he has, then he deserves to be tried like the rest of them.
Just like the rest of them.
And if he hasn't, then he deserves to be exonerated.
Right.
But in the same sense, if he's there should be a formal investigation, and if he's involved in it, then take him down. I'm reading the...
I'm reading a little bit of the article here. Like, there's a lot of stuff that, she's calling Virginia a liar, said she wasn't underage. Maxwell is obviously the whole time denying everything and wording things in such a way that she doesn't incriminate herself. Yada, yada, yada. They're really trying to get... Here we go. Here's the thing you're talking about. They said, I'm going to put on the record Miss Maxwell very inappropriately and very harshly pounded our law firm table in an inappropriate manner. I ask you to take a deep breath and calm down. I know it's a difficult position, but physical assault or threats is not appropriate, so no pounding, stomping, no, that's not appropriate.
Well, and just so I can wrap up about Trump, because I don't want it to be seen like I'm saying Trump is involved or not involved. I haven't seen enough evidence about that. And if there is evidence that comes out, then obviously I will make my decision about that based on the evidence that comes out. But it is very, very fucking clear that Ghislaine Maxwell was doing some heinous shit with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, for sure.
And he, quote-unquote, committed suicide, which I still don't fucking believe.
There's no way, dude. Somebody, and I would almost be I'm very convinced or believe strongly that the Clintons had something to do with that, given their track record of making people disappear.
That's where I struggle with conspiracy, man, because, like, okay, so I'm right-leaning, right? And I want... It's not that I want the Clintons to be involved, but it would make sense for them to be involved, right? So, I don't want that to happen, but I want to believe that could be true.
Right.
And that's where I get wrapped up in the, like, is this conspiracy bullshit or is this real life? And I don't know if the Clintons can for real be tied to it, but I can see the ties.
Yeah. Well, either way, we're 100% convinced that, and most people are, that Epstein did not just kill himself in that jail cell. There's no way.
No,
and
dude.
There was other coroner reports that said that the manner in which he was committed suicide was more in line with homicide rather than suicide.
Well, and it's like a cartoon to believe that, like, the stationary officers fell asleep and the cameras quit working, and
it's too convenient.
It really is like a segment of Bugs Bunny or something like that,
or
how
like
they got away with it,
like a spy movie or something. Like, there's no way that things in life line up that perfectly for Epstein to be like, now is the time. Like, no.
And I'm gonna break my neck in a way that when a third party obituary specialist, like, takes a look at it, he's gonna say, no, this isn't suicide, man.
Yeah, it's too convenient.
I'm looking at.
No, Combo, it's not on Twitch. It's on YouTube.
Anyway, man.
Sorry, I'm still kind of perusing the disposition here. Well, not the disposition, but the article around it. So
I'm looking at chat right now. Is your family? Yeah, just go to YouTube.
The link was at the beginning of the chat, which you guys aren't gonna be able to see. Oh no, it's still there. I'll post it again.
Did you see about that guy in Thailand?
You said last week that dude he was gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, he's gonna be there for a while
because he disparaged a resort there.
And the mom who the dingo ate her baby. Do you remember that story at all?
A dingo ate my baby. Yeah.
Yeah. She got put away in jail for a long time.
Wow.
And then a hiker fell to his death. And a bunch of dingoes picked up his remains, and that led the investigators to a dingo lair where a bunch of different dingoes had their lairs, and they found the jacket of the kid, and that was like a smoking gun of the kid. So she's free now. She didn't kill her
kid. She went to jail for no reason.
Yeah.
That's insane.
She's getting like...
How crazy is it that the hiker fell to his death and led him right back to the dingo lair?
You want to talk about God being like, okay, listen, we need to throw this lady a bone.
Yeah, that's insane.
The guy's gonna die. That sucks. I'm not saying that that's not, good, but it did lead to a lady getting to live her life free, as opposed to sitting behind jail for killing her 2-year-old son for the rest of her life.
Did you see that Amy Barret, I think that's her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her confirmation's getting pushed. They did the final thing. I guess they did a confirmation. I don't know if it was a confirmation hearing or something, but they did it They did it very recently, and obviously the Republicans pushed it through. The Democrats didn't even attend. Instead, they put cardboard cutouts of people that would be affected by Obamacare being repealed, I guess. They put cardboard cutouts of those people in their seats instead of actually being there. But I think the final, or the actual, confirming hearing and everything is supposed to happen relatively soon.
Well, she's already voted in. She's already got the official nod. So
I think they just have to do the swearing in. And
you can postpone the swearing in if you want, but she's in.
Yeah, I think that's what the Democrats are doing. They're going to boycott the swearing in and everything too.
Of course, yeah.
I do not brag about it. Combo.
Listen, man, love you to death, but we need you to talk about our podcast, not the goddamn family podcast. Right? We love the family podcast. We support it.
But, yeah, that's about it, guys. The debate was a lot more civil from what I understand.
It was a lot more civil.
And Ghislaine we're still freaking pumping that well. And
I've said many times before, just hold a cheeseburger in front of her face and just say, for more names.
I feel that
it's all yours, Ghislaine.
She's gonna keep giving out information as long as they keep beating her with a stick.
She better.
I hope so. What's going on in the world chat? You want to hear our takes on real fast? I'll be sure to promote your podcast. Thanks, Squash.
Thanks, Squash. Appreciate you. Do a little bit more whiskey
on the next episode. But does anybody else? Ed Nuts, do you have anything else that's happened in the past week you want to hear our two mugs talk about? Squash, you got anything? Combo? I'll give you guys a few minutes. I know there's a delay.
Have you started doing more streaming?
Nah, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Waiting for that good opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. We'll see. I think I kind of want to get back into it, but I got other things to go. You guys are jacked either way in the next election. I wish you the best. I mean, I hope not, but I will be.
Listen, if people vote for JoJo, that everyone will be happy.
True. But yeah, I'll be sitting with a live stream of CNN or whatever, the election night stuff. I'm sure somebody on Twitch will be streaming it. And go from there. Not that I know of, Ed Nut says, but I do want to update and say both my parents are in a rehab facility now. Good!
Nice.
That's good to hear. Glad that they're doing well and starting the recovery and rehabilitation process from COVID. That's good news. Squash asked, do you think a civil war is likely? No. I don't think we'll have a full-blown civil war about it. Not yet, anyway. I think that people are going to be pissed. I think that there's going to be probably some riots, definitely some protests. If Trump gets in again, that's I would say almost 100% confirmed that there will be protests for sure, riots possibly.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on this one.
Okay.
I think if Trump wins again, there is 100% chance of civil wars.
That's huge.
They've already flagged and marked voter registration to where you're a registered Republican or you are a registered God damn it, Democrat.
There you go. Wait, what happens if
I'm scared about this, dude. I'm for sure scared about this, and that's why I'm struggling with my words. Is because I'm a registered Republican, and if there have been letters sent to people in Omaha, it was on the news last night, to where people have already pirated different parts of different systems and said, if you vote for so and so, we will be after you. That was a real news report from Omaha last night, and I'm not even voting Republican. but I'm registered Republican.
I don't think I don't because in Missouri, I don't know how it is in Missouri. I don't
I'm
think I registered as either or. They asked me when I first went to get my ballot, which ballot did I want, because it was just for the state ballot at the time, and I said, well, give me the Libertarian ballot. And then they sent me later on they sent me the presidential ballot.
Dude,
So,
this shit has me for real nervous
and what
because
was it?
I am a registered Republican. I'm not voting Republican, but it's been said that if Donald Trump wins, there will be maps printed out of registered Republicans and they will have access to that information. And dude, this was a news art. Look it
I
up.
really hope
It
that
was.
is just like scare tactics, and they do not have the addresses of people.
I'm telling you, I am for real afraid of a civil war. I am like, I'm not just saying this for like face value or whatever. I am really afraid of the fact that people could get access to civil voting right information because it's supposedly public information and that they could, start to whittle down neighborhoods and find who voted for who. Now, listen, I'm voting for JoJo Jurgensen. I want it to be made clear right now. But that said, I'm a registered Republican. And if they're basing who I voted for off of what I'm registered towards, it I'm telling you, bro, I am afraid of a civil war.
Bro, at this
Not
point,
and not a civil war in the sense of like you think of like the 1920s where it's like slavery, anti-slavery, blah blah blah. I'm telling you, I'm afraid that Donald Trump could win again and that the opposite side of that could try to rise up and create a faction that would seek to diminish that. I'm really afraid of that.
that is scary, and I'm not saying this in any sort of light tense, but bro, get strapped. Please do
Dude,
not please do not get clapped.
I will not get clapped. I will promise you that much. I've got plans in place. I've got I'm gonna make sure me and mine are safe.
It's good. I wish I could. If it wasn't such a a hassle up here, I would 100% look into that now. But
Let me and I don't want to sound like a doomsdayer or anything like that, but I just had 2 video cameras ordered to the house today, so I can have all of my house on video if something goes south, to where it will all be stored. And I'm not gonna go looking for trouble. That's the last thing I want is trouble. But I do want to have surveillance on everything
yeah,
just to make sure that everything goes smooth
smooth.
and it's all fine.
Yeah. Squash, I did hear about the kidnapping or attempted kidnapping of the governor of Michigan recently. Apparently, I think it was a former Marine. So that dude's crazy. I can vouch from that. But yeah, I saw that got thwarted because people don't know how to keep. I'm not trying to advocate for this, but he posted about it. He posted about him trying to kidnap the governor of Michigan, which was dumb, and they're just trying to do it because they were mad that she kept the state shut down for so long or whatever. And I feel like I kind of heard something about the alleged plot to assassinate Joe Biden that the FBI caught of. I think there was a fleeting glimpse of it I saw maybe on Jerry News or something. I did also hear that or see that there was a suspicious package sent to the White House. I think the package had anthrax in it or something. That got sent to the White House, but they caught it obviously, and then they ended up finding the woman who sent it, and she got arrested for trying to mess with the president. So she's going to jail for the rest of her life.
Good for her.
So yeah, that package got sent from Canada. Oh great! Well, that Canadian lady is done. Done for. Hope you enjoy your time in an American prison.
That's a tough look. being like, "Oh, I'm out of country. It'll be fine." And
Yeah,
then
nope.
I'm like, "Oh shit, they tied that shit back to me, and now I got to spend the rest of my life in an American jail." It's not great.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, well,
That woman was from the valley. Wait, hold on. So now we've got. After it got caught, she was caught trying to cross the border. Oh, so she sent it. It was trying to run into Canada. Is that what we're saying? Or she was Canadian, sent it in America, and then went from there. Excuse me one moment while I get down real fast.
what is Ben doing right now? I'm very confused. What are you doing?
I had to plug something back in.
Oh, gotcha. It's like, what the fuck are you? You're like trying to smoke a bowl down there real quick, or?
I wish, dude. I wish. I wish. That's insane.
I was gonna say something about that right then, but nah.
But there was a lady from the valley, or had ties to the valley, had been in the valley, and she sent stuff to the sheriff in the valley, and the DA in the valley. Wow, people need to calm down with the sending of packages. This is not 1950 anymore. They have screening procedures. Anthrax is not getting through in an envelope.
Nope. Shocker to everyone.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Alright, what are you looking at, pupper? Do you need to go outside?
Well, does Chad have anything else?
No, she was Canadian, sent it from Canada, trying to get to the president, and after the package got caught, she tried to cross the border so she could go get him personally. What an insane person!
Hey, she's just trying to cut out the middleman. She's like, I'm gonna do this shit myself.
Apparently the post office can't do it, so I guess I'll go down there.
I'm not relying on any motherfucker. I'm doing this shit myself.
She said the post office can't be trusted because they caught it. I'm gonna go climb the fence myself. Combo has news. What's up? What's up, Mission Failed / Combo? What's your news?
Dude, I gotta pee so bad. I'm gonna pee real quick. I'm sorry.
Okay, I
can't wait anymore. I was waiting until the end of the episode, and now I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking piss my pants.
Holy cow, this delay must be real bad. Or Combo's typing on his phone, it's gonna take forever. There he goes. The creative director for Google Stadia claimed that streamers should need to buy... Okay, I saw that earlier today. I think, yeah. That's so dumb. Like, I get that they used to... I think on YouTube you used to have a commercial license to stream video games on YouTube, or at least put that content out. Stupid. That guy... Gamers already paid for the game. So why should we need a license to stream it? Like, and a lot of people had a good point. Most studios, if you'll notice, even pay big name streamers to stream their video game. They're called sponsored videos. What? No. There's sponsored streams and sponsored YouTube videos so that they can get... It's advertising. They use it as a way to advertise because people relate to those streamers and like those streamers and will buy a game if a streamer plays it and enjoys it. So yeah, that dude from Google Stadia should probably just stop talking because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he's just trying to make more money and he needs to calm down. Like, no, you should not need a license to stream a video game. The developers gave it to you. Twitch has a platform where you can stream video games, and if you needed a license, that would have been in the, like, either Twitch would have been shut down because you don't need a license on Twitch, or Twitch would have required you to pay money to get a license to stream video games. So it's stupid. So you're probably going to stream tomorrow? Oh, nice. What time? Actually, tell me in Discord later. Alright. Bless you, Alex. I knew that was a sneeze, but you muted yourself.
I know. I didn't know what was going on in you and your conversations about streaming and not streaming.
Hold on. I haven't followed you on Twitch. Alright, I'll follow you after this is over. Definitely thought I followed you, but oopsies. Alright, well,
bad friend.
I know. If you guys don't have anything else, my dog is really getting after me right now. I think he needs to go to the bathroom. I don't know. Alex just got back from the bathroom.
I did just get done.
But if you guys don't have anything else for us, I think we'll wrap it up and call it an episode. Shame on myself for not uploading last time 2 episodes. Last week's episode and the episode before that. And now this episode, so I've got 3 videos to do.
Terrible.
I'm so bad. Arkansas doesn't play tomorrow. We have a bye week, so I'll spend some time tomorrow.
Texas plays Baylor, and if we don't win, I will never be on a podcast ever again, because I will just be busy, completely sulking in the fact that Texas fucking sucks. Right. Bet on that.
Bet on it.
Bet on that. I'm done podcasting if Texas does not win tomorrow.
Well, you guys heard it here. There will be no more podcast if Texas loses.
No pressure, Sam Ellinger. I mean,
So yeah, but we'll call that an episode for tonight, friends. And I will get those other videos edited up tomorrow because I'll have time to do it. And so yeah, but we'll go from there. It was a good episode.
Mission Failed says it's a good episode. I appreciate that.
Like that, but chat was wacky as night. That's true. Okay, so for the YouTube audience, please like, subscribe, turn the bell notification on for when I do post the videos. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor's dog. All that good stuff. Be good to each other. Educate yourselves about things and stuff and everything. Read a book. Get smart. And tell somebody you love them. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Love you guys.
Peace.